Dear students, today we will start a new topic called linear equations in two variables. So before I proceed further, I would like to get a small clarification from you that you are able to hear my voice very clearly and able to view the screen properly.
Yes.
Okay, great. So the point is that in linear equations in two variables, there are two variables. But in earlier classes, you learned in earlier classes means in last year when you were in, class 8 standard. So you understood one thing called linear equations in one variable, correct or not? What was linear equations in one variable? Suppose I write some equation, something like this, is that, so, suppose I write equation something like that, x plus 7 is equal to 0. And you know how to find a solution to this equation? It's quite simple. That means x plus 7 equal to 0. From here you can write x is equal to minus 7. And this is known as the linear equation in one variable. So this is known as linear equation in one variable. Why one variable? Because x, what you see, is the unknown. Unknown is known as the variable in this context. So x is unknown. There is only one unknown. Exactly one unknown, I should say. Hence, it is a linear equation in one variable. Now, we are going to extend it to, two variables. That, for example, I can say is that, if I write something like this, 2x plus 3y is equal to 70. This is a linear equation in two variables. Okay, let me give you a practical example. Suppose I say, and there are, two students. Okay, they have given a mathematics examination, and sum of their marks is 120. So how we can represent that statement, what I just said in English, in terms of a mathematical statement? So what is the statement? Let me repeat once more, dear students. Is that two students, appeared in a mathematics examination, and the marks obtained by them is such that the sum of their marks is 120. So how we can represent? We can represent something like this. X plus y is equal to 120, where x and y are two unknowns. That means x is the marks obtained by the first student and y is the marks obtained by the second student. And we can represent this as x plus y is equal to 120. Now, as there are two variables involved, this kind of equation is known as linear equations in two variables. So what we will discuss today? We are going to discuss, more about this type of equations, that is linear equations in two variables. And very importantly, you will see that there are real life practical problems. Okay, that is what you also call word problem, that problem expressed in words. Okay, that you can very well establish in the linear equations in two variables. Okay, let me give you an example so that helps you to understand that why it is important that to learn linear equations in two variables. Let me give you a very practical example. So suppose I say question something like this. Let me find a question. Suppose I say the sum of two numbers is 30. The sum of two numbers is 30 and the larger number exceed by the smaller by 6. Find the numbers. Okay, let us actually spend proper analysis. Let us spend some time to make a proper analysis of this particular question. Let me place the question in front of you. So what is the question here? Question here is that, let me place the question. The sum of two numbers is 30. Okay, and the larger number exceeds the smaller by 6. Find the numbers. You can answer this question without having any knowledge of linear equations in two variables. And to answer that one, you need to make a trial and error method, isn't it, dear students? Because you need to find two numbers so that the larger one is exceeds by the smaller by 6, and their sum is actually 30. But if we apply the concept of linear equations in two variables, this kind of word problems can be solved very easily. So let me first show you the solution. If you face any difficulty to understand that solution, never hesitate to let me know. Okay, so this is the question here. Okay, suppose question number 1. So let the two numbers be x and y. Let the two numbers be let me write properly. Let.
Sir, I tried the question. Could I tell you the answer?
Yes, you can.
Sir, is it 12?
Very good.
Yes, sir. 12 and 18.
12 and 18. So how you find it out, by the way? You use trial and
Sir, so
how
x
you,
plus y is 3. And so then they said that y, like if we take any of the numbers, then y is equal to x plus 6. So then if you just substitute
correct.
y in that,
Exactly. Exactly.
yes,
You are in the right way you have mentioned. So let the two numbers be, let the two numbers be x and y. Correct? So then according to the question, what we get? According to the question, we get x plus y is equal to 30. That is, we are drawing from that the sum of the two numbers is 30. So this we give an equation number 1. And the second statement, let me draw it in a different color so that let me explain. Larger number, the larger number exceeds the smaller number by 6. So now when we assume these two numbers when x and y, and let x is greater than y. So let us assume that x is a larger number. So then from the second statement is that the larger number exceeds the smaller number by 6. How we can express it? We can express it as that x is equal to y plus 6. Correct or not? So now this is equation number 2. And then what we have done? We have solved these two equations to find the value of x and y. So for example, as we know that x is equal to y plus 6. So from here what we can write is that x is nothing but 30 minus y. From this equation it is coming x is equal to 30 minus y. So 30 minus y is equal to y plus 6. So that implies 2y is equal to 24. Hence, we get the value of y is equal to 12. The moment we get the value of y is 12, so that implies the value of x is equal to 12 plus 6 because x is equal to y plus 6. So that is equal to 12 plus 6. That implies x is equal to 18. So we get the values of x and y as 18. X and y as 18 and 12 respectively. To solve this kind of word problems, we will see that linear equations in two variables are very important. Now, let me go back a little bit about the linear equations in one variable. For example, when you see that x plus 7 equal to 0, what you see in that, I wrote it here. This is the linear equations in one variable. And in these linear equations in one variable, what is the solution? The solution you can plot in a number line. Whatever the solution you get, x equal to minus 7, you know how to draw a number line. In that, construct a number line. In that number line, you can find that value. One variable. But when there are two variables, how you express the solution? You express the solution as a ordered pair. That means which satisfies both the equations x and y. Now, let me explain you one more thing. Suppose if the question is that the sum of two numbers is 30, find the two numbers. Did you get the question, what I'm talking about? The question here is that I modify that question a little bit. Okay, so suppose I write it here. Okay, let me write a different color. Suppose I write that question. Question number 2 is that, the sum of two numbers is 30. The sum of two numbers is 30. Find the numbers. How you can answer this question? Could you please tell me how you can approach this question? And what is this? What could be your solution?
You will write it as x plus y is equal to 30, and you can't get the exact value, but you can get it in terms of the other term.
Very good. Very well said. So, if we assume that let the numbers be x and y, let the numbers be, sometime digital board I face problem in writing x and y. Let the numbers be x and y. Then according to the statement, what we can write? X plus y is equal to 30. Now, dear students, x plus y is equal to 30. That is the only one equation you got from the statement. So if you need to find the value of y in terms of y and x and y, we can get infinite number of solutions. What is that? Suppose we can write, let me show you some solutions how we can get it. Is that, suppose here we write x and here we write y. If we write x is equal to 1, y become 29. If we write x is equal to 2, 28. Then if we write that x is equal to 3, then become 27, and so on. So there are infinite number of solutions if we give only one linear equations in two variables. Now, if there are two equations has been provided the way that we solved the previous question, that is x plus y is equal to 30 and x equal to y plus 6. When there are two equations given to you, then we will see later, okay, that we can either find a unique solution, or we can find, infinite number of solution, or there exists no solution at all. We will look into those cases. But before that, I just gave you that motivation that why we should learn linear equations in two variables. Okay. Now let's go back to our previous discussion, that in linear equations in two variables, okay, if there is only one equation, okay, then a generic form of linear equations in two variables is what you know. So any equation, okay, is of the form, so general form of a linear equations in two variables, that I'm going to show you now. Okay, so let me take a new page. So, a generic linear equations in two variables. Generic linear equations in two variables. So, for example, what will be a generic linear equations in two variables? Let me give you a form. If you write something like this, ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, okay, got it? Where a, b and c belongs to R, that means that belongs to the set of real numbers, and a and b not both 0, and a and b not both 0. That means they cannot be 0 at the same time. This kind of equation is known as the linear equations in two variables. Ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Let us take some example. Okay. Suppose a form is that. So one example I can show you. The first example I can write is that suppose we see that 2x plus 3y is equal to 0. Yes, we can write this is in the form of a generic linear equations in two variables. How? It is 2x plus 3y plus 0 is equal to 0, which is in the form of ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Here c is equal to 0, by the way. The value of c is 0. Suppose another example is that suppose I say that 3x is equal to 5. Yes, that can also be expressed in the form of a generic linear equations two variables. How? Though it is a linear equations in one variable, but we can express it in the form of a linear equations in two variables. How? We can write this is equal to 3x plus 0 into y minus 5 is equal to 0. So this is called a linear equations in two variables. So all these are linear equations in two variables. Now what we are going to discuss in details about that how to find a solution to the linear equations in two variables. So what is the solution to a linear equation? So next point of discussion is the solution of a linear equation. Solution of a linear equation. So dear students, what is meant by a solution to a linear equation is that the values of these unknowns, that is x and y, which satisfies this equation is called the solution of a linear equation. For example, if I give an equation like this, 2x plus 3y plus 5 equal to 0, then the value of x and y which satisfies this one is called a solution to the linear equations. Okay, let's take an example. Okay, for example, if from here we get multiple solutions. If we write, so from here we can get a solution like this: x is equal to minus 1 and y is equal to minus 1. Apply x is equal to minus 1 and y is equal to minus 1. Then 2x plus 3y plus 5, that is the left hand side of that equation, will become minus 2 minus 3 plus 5, that is 0, which is equal to the right hand side of the equation satisfies. Or you can find another value is that you can write, x is equal to 0 and you get y is equal to minus 5 by 3. then also it is a solution. Or you can write is equal to x is equal to minus 5 by 2 and y is equal to 0. So if only one linear equation is given in two variables, you can find infinite number of solutions, dear students. How you can find infinite number of solutions, you know? For that, you need to plot a graph. Then you'll understand how we can find infinite number of solutions and why it is called a linear equations. Because this equation, what you see, that 2x plus 3y plus 5 equal to 0, that represent a straight line. And how to construct that straight line, dear students? We can construct that straight line very well, something like this, you know. We are aware about the coordinate axis. So this is our coordinate axis. Okay. So let's take 2 points. So this is x-axis, x dash, this is origin, and we get y dash. Correct? Now when x is equal to 0, then y is equal to minus 5 by 3. So it will be somewhere like this point. So suppose this point we call it as a point B, that is x is equal to 0 and y is equal to minus 5 by 3. And when x is equal to minus 5 by 2, okay, then y is equal to 0. So x is equal to minus 5 by 2 is something like this. Suppose this is the point A, where x is equal to minus 5 by 2 and y is equal to 0. Now, dear students, we can just construct a straight line passing through these 2 points, correct or not? We can construct a straight line. Suppose this is the straight line, which we name as a straight line L. Now, any point on that straight line actually is a solution to the linear equations 2x plus 3y plus 5 equal to 0, correct or not? You take a point here, 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 you take a point here. Anywhere you take a point, you will find all these points are solution to the given linear equation, that is 2x plus 3y plus 5 equal to 0. Now, a straight line contains how many points? A straight line contains infinite number of points. Hence, there are infinite number of solutions. So, as we discussed few minutes back, that if only one linear equation in two variables is given to you, you can find infinite number of solutions. And these are the, as I explained, this is the way you can find the infinite number of solutions. Now, if you say that, sir, I want to find that one, not a big deal. You can draw a perpendicular from this, find the distance from the origin, that will be the value of x, and distance between this is called the value of y. In that way, you can find that different values of x and y. But the point is that if, so what we understood is that if, a linear equation is given with only one equation, you can find infinite number of solutions. So here there is a, another way we can express this thing. If you look into this particular equation, 2x plus 3y plus 5 equal to 0, from here, what you can write? 3y is equal to minus of 2x plus 5. Correct or not? So from here, we get the value of y is equal to minus of 2x plus 5 divided by 3. Now, you apply any value of x, you will get a value of y. So your task is that if you apply any value of x, you will get a value of y. And that is why it is very important that, if you apply a value of x, you will get a value of y. So for example, if I, make it in a tabular form, is that something like this. Here it is x and here it is y. So I apply the value of x equal to 0. I get the value of y is equal to minus 5 by 3. I apply the value of x is equal to 1. I get the value of y is equal to minus 7 by 3. I apply the value of x is equal to 2. I get the value of y is equal to minus 9 by 3, that is minus 3. So in that way, you can find infinite number of solutions. Now, why it is called a linear equations? Because if you draw, if you draw that particular linear equation in a graphical representation, it means what I wanted to say is that if you give a graphical representation of that equation, then what you get is a straight line. That is why it is called a linear equation. A linear equation, then two variables, as there are two variables. So what we understood is that if only one linear equation is given to you, then you can find infinite number of solutions. So now let's proceed that when there are two linear equations given to you, then what will be the case? That if two linear equations are given to you, then how you can find the solution to the system of linear equations. Okay. So that is our next point of discussion, that solution to a pair of linear equations. Solutions to a pair of linear equations. So that means what? There are two linear equations given to you. Okay. Let me give you an example. Suppose I say that x plus 2y is equal to 6 and x minus y is equal to 4. Suppose. Okay. Then how we can find the value of x and y? So what is our target? Our target is to find the value of x and y. X and y. That is our target. And there are few methods we can apply. The first method is called the method of substitution. So there are three methods by which we can form the solution to a linear equation. So what are those that we are going to learn now? The first one, what I wanted to say is that it is known as the by substitution. So it is called the method of substitution. What is substitution? So let me explain you by means of an example. So first we find that method of substitution. So what you will do here, in the method of substitution is that from any of these two equations, find the value of either x or y in terms of the other. That means we can express x in terms of y or y in terms of x. So if you see that from the second equation, what we can write is that y is equal to x minus 4. Correct? And the moment you get y is equal to x minus 4, that you get from the second equation, by the way. And that value of y in terms of x minus 4 can be applied in the first equation. That means what? X plus 2 into x minus 4 is equal to 6. And from here we can find the value of x. So how you can find the value of x? So it is 3x minus 8 plus is equal to 3x is equal to 14, and hence we find the value of x is equal to 14 by 3. The moment we find the value of x is equal to 14 by 3, so what is the value of y? The value of y is equal to x minus 4 now. So 14 by 3 minus 4. That implies y is equal to 2 by 3. So these are the values of x and y we get, dear students. X is equal to 14 by 3 and y is equal to 2 by 3. The next method what we can discuss is that method is called the elimination. Okay, elimination also we can say, or also we can say it is a cancellation. Okay, elimination or cancellation, what you can say. So that is called, next method is called the cancellation. So what is the cancellation method, dear students? The cancellation method says that we work on both the equations in such a manner that one variable get cancelled. Suppose the first equation we multiplied by 1, then what we are going to get? We are going to get x plus 2y is equal to 6 now. And the second equation we multiplied by 2, then what we are going to get? 2x minus 2y is equal to 2 into 4, 8. Correct? Now what we are going to do is that we are going to add both sides. If we add both sides, so left hand side what it will be? X plus 2x is 3x. And 2y minus 2y, that will get cancelled. That is why it is known as cancellation. And in the right hand side should be 6 plus 8 is equal to 14. And what we get the value of x? We get the value of x is equal to 14 by 3. And as
so why did we multiply x minus y by 2, only by 2 and not by anything else?
Okay, very good question. Because just to cancel these 2y and minus 2y.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Clear or not clear?
Yeah.
So then we get the value of x is equal to 14 by 3. Correct or not? Now, in the similar manner, what you can do is that we can, multiply the first equation by 1. That means it becomes x plus 2y is equal to 6. And the second equation, we can multiply it by minus 1. That means what? Minus x plus y become minus 4. Now you add it, what you'll get? Left hand side you'll get what? 3y, and right hand side it become 2. So that implies y is equal to 2 by 3. So this is the solution by means of cancellation. And you get the same values, dear students, that in both cases we get the values as x is equal to 14 by 3 and y is equal to 2 by 3. Correct? Clear or not clear? Now the next part is what is coming is that is what we call is that we learned two things so far. That next one is that is called the graphical method. Graphical method means is that you represent both the straight lines in geometrical form and find their point of intersection. As we just learned few minutes back, a linear equation nothing but representation of a straight line. That x plus 2y is equal to 6 is nothing but a straight line. How? So we can draw this one. So let me use a different color. Okay. So how we can use the method of, so here you can see that is called the graphical method. Graphical method. Graphical we can see. So what we will do first? First we will draw the coordinate axis. Okay. This is the origin. If you look into the first equation, x plus 2y is equal to 6. How we can represent a straight line for that one? Pretty simple. When you get x plus 2y is equal to 6, so let me write it here. X plus 2y is equal to 6. So to construct a straight line, how many points we know, dear students? We know exactly 2 points. So here x and y, you apply x equal to 0 and you get the value of y is equal to 3. and then you apply the value of y is equal to 0, and you get the value of x is 6. So that means there are 2 points 6 comma 0. If this is 6 comma 0, suppose this is the point A having coordinate 6 comma 0, and another point is that 0 comma 3, that is the point 0 comma 3. Suppose this is the point B, it is 0 comma 3. Now our straight line is nothing but passing through these 2 points. That is the straight line x plus 2y is equal to 6. Got it? Now the next straight line, what is the next straight line? Let me use a different color. Next straight line is that x minus y is equal to 4. And dear students, to construct a straight line in a graphical representation, all you need to find is that two pairs of values of x and y. So here it is x and y. Let's put x equal to 0. Then y will be minus 4. And then let's put y is equal to 0. Then we get x is equal to 4. Other points are not important. Now let's place these 2 points. First one is x is equal to 0. Then y is equal to minus 4. It should be somewhere like here. Suppose this is the point C. X is equal to 0. Y is equal to minus 4. And next one is that when x is equal to 4, y is equal to 6. Right? So that means suppose this is the point D. So what is the coordinate of D? When x is equal to 4, y is equal to 0. Now what we want to do is that we want to, construct that straight line. Okay, just a minute. The straight line is not properly constructed. Yes. Now what is the solution? Solution is nothing but the point of intersection of these two straight lines, dear students. Whatever the point of intersection of these two straight lines, you can find the solution to this one. So this is the way we can find the solutions to a pair of linear equations. Now, there are some interesting cases we are going to discuss now. That if I give you two linear equations, can you always guarantee that you can get a solution? Okay. The answer to this question is it may be, it may not be. So there are some conditions by which we can say that whether is pair of linear equations having unique solution, infinite number of solutions, or no solutions. Okay, what is that? That we can find. That is what is called as the nature of solutions. Okay, and that we are going to discuss in the next page. So here the point is that nature of solutions of a pair of linear equations. Okay, now let us consider a pair of linear equations. So what is that? A pair of means two linear equations. So first one we get a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0. And the second one is that a2x plus a2x plus b2y plus c2 equal to 0. So what is x? A1 and b1. A1 and b1 are the coefficient of x and y in the first equation. A2 and b2 are the coefficients of x and y in the second equation. And c1 and c2 are actually the known constant quantities. So now this pair of linear equations, may have unique solution, an infinite number of solutions, or no solutions. What are the three cases that we are going to learn? So this pair of linear equations, may have, unique solution. Unique solution means what, dear students? Unique solution means you can only find a single set of values of x and y satisfying both the equations. That means it is impossible to find more than a pair of values of x and y satisfying this equation under that unique solution condition. And what is the condition, dear students? The condition is that a1 by a2 should not be equal to b1 by b2. So this is the condition for unique solution. So let me tell you, dear students, that if we have a pair of linear equations, something like this, that a1x plus b1y plus c1 equal to 0, and a2x plus b2y plus c2 equal to 0, then this pair of linear equations in two variables will have unique solution if a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2. Then the next point is coming is that when it is going to have infinite number of solutions. So let me use a different color. So let me use a color something like this thing, is infinite solution. Infinite number of solutions if a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is equal to c1 by c2. So that means if a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is equal to c1 by c2, then it can have infinite number of solutions. Dear students, I will show you after a few minutes that by their graphical representation how it looks like. And the next one is that unique solution, infinite number solution, and the next one is that no solution. Let me express this thing in a different color. That have no solution when when a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2, but that is not equal to c1 by c2. So that means what? What you can write is that a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2, but that is not equal to c1 by c2. So then we can say the system of linear equations has no solutions. Let us understand, graphically that how it represents. Okay. So let me draw the coordinate axis first. So these are the coordinate axis. So this is x, this is y, this is x dash, and this is y dash, and there is the origin. Now let us represent symbolically the first part, that is the unique solution. As I wrote the unique solution text and the relevant condition in green, let me also represent that is in the graphical represent of this case in green color. Suppose the first equation a1x plus b1y plus c1 equal to 0 could be like this. And the second one is that a2x plus b2y plus c2 equal to 0, it could be like this. Then what you get? You get a unique solution. Because as there is exactly one point of, intersection. Correct? So that is a unique solution. So this part is actually unique solution. Why unique solution? Because both these, equations represent a straight line. So there are two straight lines, and two straight lines, are intersecting at a single point. That is why it is called unique solution. Now, when it can have infinite number of solutions, so infinite number of solutions I express in red color, and both the text and in the condition. So here also I am going to show you. So when you have two coincidence line, coincide. One line is on top of the other. So another line also is actually coinciding with this one. Got it? Then what we can say is that we can say, because any point on that straight line is also a solution to the other straight line, because they are coinciding now. What are the coinciding lines? A1x plus b1y plus c1 equal to 0, and a2x plus b2y plus c2 equal to 0. These are the two coinciding lines. And what is the condition of they are actually coinciding lines is that a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is equal to c1 by c2. So that means any point on one straight line is also belongs to the other straight line. Hence, there are infinite number of solutions. Now let's see the third case, that is no solution at all. So no solution, as I wrote both the text and the condition in the purple color. So let me show you its graphical representation also in the purple color. What is that? So these two represents a set of parallel lines. If you look into these two parallel lines, dear students, these two parallel lines never intersect. Hence, no solution. So in this case, what we get is that no solution. And here in this red color, what you get is that, infinite number of solutions. Infinite solutions. Correct, dear students? So you understood the conditions through which we can conclude whether a pair of linear equations has unique solution or infinite number of solutions, or no solution. Let us take an example to understand the case. So for example, we get a question something like this, and let's understand. You also solve along with me. In fact, I will appreciate if you can solve and do let me know what is your conclusion. Find out the number of solutions for the following linear equations. Okay, the first one is that 4x plus 5y is equal to 20, and the second one is that 8x plus 10y is equal to 30. So what is your statement? Could you please work on it and do let me know? Is the question clear to you, dear students? Hello, Manishika.
Yes, sir.
Is the question clear? Question here is that find out the number of solutions for the following equations.
Sir, it's only one
A1
solution.
A1 by B1 is equal to B A1 by A2 is equal to B1 by B2, but C1 by C2 is not equal to that.
Very good. Very good observation. That means
So it's no solution.
No solution.
fantastic. That means no solution. So in simple term, what we can say is that we can make an analogy with this thing is that we can consider this a1x plus b1y is equal to c1, and the second one is that a2x plus b2y is equal to c2. So what we get is that a1 by a2, so that is 4 by 8 na. So a1 by a2 is equal to 4 by 8, that is equal to 1 by 2. Then we find b1 by b2. b1 by b2 is equal to 5 by 10, and that is also equal to 1 by 2. And what is c1 by c2? c1 by c2 means that is equal to 20 by 30, that is equal to 2 by 3. So what we see? As we see, a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is not equal to c1 by c2. The given equations has no solutions.
Sir, I have a question.
Please.
So, sir, if suppose it's a unique solution, then will C1 by C2 be equal to B1 by B2 or not equal to B1 by B2?
Okay, no. Very good question. That is immaterial. Okay, that doesn't matter. It may be equal, it may not be equal. Only condition is that a1 by a2 should not be equal to b1 by b2.
Okay, sir.
Okay, there is no restriction on c1 by c2.
Okay, sir.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
So good. We had a very good discussion, and you also understood how to plot the graph. Okay, in the graph paper. In fact, graph paper I don't show you, but I showed you. How to plot this one. Um, and what we'll do is that in the next class we will solve some word problems, and and we'll discuss about the equation of lines parallel to x-axis and y-axis. With this note, I would like to conclude the class for today, dear students. If you have any specific question, please feel free to me. uh, and you need to solve the DPPs of linear equations into variables, and submit to it before we start our class, that is a day after tomorrow.
Sir, all the TPPs or any particular number?
No, you solve two DPPs.
Okay.
Okay,
Sir, which
that is linear equations in two variables. I can show you by means of a this thing, a live demonstration. So what you need to do is that, let me share a different screen with you. Able to view the screen?
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes,
you
sir.
go for
Yes,
that,
sir.
you click on login, then give your login ID and password. Once successfully login, go for the write online examination. Okay, click on the line, click on the write online examination. Then you get linear equation into variables set 1, set 2, like this. So appear 2, right test. Then you start getting questions, right? Clear? Srivali, did you get your answer?
Yes, sir. When should do this by next class?
No, you should do by day after tomorrow. Two DPPs should be submitted by day after tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Um, with this note, I would like to conclude the class for today, dear students.